Okay, so I've never been an AMD fanboy or an Intel fanboy. Intel has always kicked ass. The first time that AMD actually beat Intel was when Intel had their heads up Apple's ass introducing Apple to the Intel platform. And then AMD came out with their FX processors. I switched to AMD for a couple years anyway. Then I went back to Intel because Intel was killing it. So now here recently, when AMD started coming out with their Ryzen chips, then they came out with the Threadripper, which is basically just two Ryzens stuck together and thrown onto a board. So it's basically just two Ryzen processors together on a Threadripper. I went ahead and switched over to Threadripper. My first Threadripper was the 1950X, graduated up to the 3950X. All I kept hearing on the forums for about the last year was, oh, Intel single core, 5 gigahertz, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So I almost went out and got the i9 990. The i9 990 on 1151 platform. But my buddy bought one, said it really wasn't that great. So I'm kind of like looking at all the reviews. I'm like, well, it's got really good reviews. Are these just Intel fanboy biased crap reviews, or are they actually legitimate real world test reviews? So when the 10900 came out, I went ahead and I got the KF because I don't plan on doing any video processing or anything. Don't plan on using any onboard video. So I got the KF version. And right now, I got it running at 5.5 gigahertz on air. No issues at all. So I'm thinking, man, this is going to be awesome, all cores. The only reason I'm running on air is because I'm waiting for my water cooling setup to get here for this damn refrigerator case. My old machine, it's right there. It's a Threadripper 3950X. So basically, I had already sold this machine knowing I was going to get the 10900. So the money that I got out of this machine, I bought a bunch of water cooling stuff for my 10900. So installing a fresh copy of Windows 10 Pro on this via an SSD ISO boot drive, which I highly recommend if you're doing a lot of ISO installs. You can throw them on this drive. I've got like Ubuntu on here, all kinds of different distros for like Entangle firewalls, pfSense. So you plug this in, you select what ISO you want, and the computer thinks it's just a CD-ROM drive plugged into a USB port. So this drive right here literally took me 5 minutes to install Windows 10 Pro on this machine. The same exact M.2 SSD drives that's in this machine are also in the Threadripper. When I went ahead and I deleted my RAID on here, my NVMe RAID, the two drives right there, slot 1, 2, right there. I deleted the RAID, recreated it, make sure that everything I had on there was wiped, and then I reinstalled a new version of Windows 10 Pro off of this. 32 seconds it took me to install it on here. And just so you know, it's the same amount of memory on both boards also. Same exact memory. This machine, I originally had 8 sticks, totaling 128 gigs. So now I took 4 of those sticks, put them in here, so this machine's got 64, this machine's got 64. Literally took me 32 seconds to install it. Using this machine for my development work, because I've got everything installed on here now, all my games, all my development apps. Photoshop loads slower. Dreamweaver loads slower. Video editing is slower. Gaming performance, I can't tell the difference. So, it's a sad day to have to say this, but Intel's done. They don't have the money for R&D anymore. AMD has the money for R&D. Why? Because of all the miners. All of those miners gave AMD an influx of cash. They threw it all into research and development, came out with the Ryzen. That was the first thing they came out with after the mining craze, which happened, 3 times in a row. Everybody bought miners. Then, coins crashed. They dumped. I mean, I was one of them. I literally had over 3,000 cards mining before the floods here where I live, and my entire mining farm was 24 feet underwater. So AMD had got a huge influx of cash from the miners. They went out, did some R&D, came out with the Ryzen, then they came out with the Threadripper. Even the Intel's platform, the Xeon platform, is getting its ass kicked by AMD's server architecture on their processors, the Opterons. I just, I really regret it because, I'm into this rig with all the stuff that I bought. About $3,800, almost $4,000. I'm into this machine. And this machine that was already bought and paid for, I was into for maybe $2,000, $2,500. Literally blows this thing away. Now, had I not already sold my Threadripper, I would just return all this Intel garbage that I got sitting in this case and just stay with Threadripper. But I really have no choice because time is money, and I already spent literally the last 2 days reinstalling all my stuff on here. So I'm just going to rock this for a while, and hopefully when I get my water cooling set up and get everything underwater and I get a 6 gigahertz overclock on this thing, maybe it'll be better. I don't know. But right now, all I can say is it's just a huge disappointment. So, yeah, if anyone out there that's got a Threadripper, I don't even care if it's a 1950X, because I even threw my old 1950X processor back on this board, went ahead, wiped the drives again, did another install of Windows 10, and it was the same. It was like 35 seconds to install Windows 10 Pro. So, and I know from memory, when I still had the 1950X running things, still faster than this 10900. So anyone that's out there that's got a Threadripper, even if it's the first one, the 1950X, keep it. Don't even think about upgrading to an Intel.